Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the semi-finals of the men's Sydney Sevens. This one, it will be New Zealand taking on France. Now, we have just seen the women's side from New Zealand advance through to the final where they may, or in fact they are, going to be taking on France. So we get to see this match for men and women, but this one should be a very exciting contest between these two sides. And France are always considered one of the dark horse of the Seven Circuit. Looking through at New Zealand starting lineup, it will be Sam Dixon, Dylan Collier, SYDNEY Rugby, Joe Webber, Akulia Rokalisoa, Leroy Carter, and Roderick Solo, the last man for New Zealand. Then for France, it will be Lagel, Jordan Sefo. He has been very good throughout the last couple of matches, using his size and speed to his advantage. Rebage, Stephen Perez, also Riva, Pesquet, and Fournier, who has been doing very well alongside Sefo and Rebage. Hey everyone, USC tonight. I'm not covering. I am so. Says Brandon, and also we're there. Let's go New Zealand, and also our girls are just too good. Yeah, they've just beaten Ireland 41-0. So unfortunately, just a little bit too one-sided, you'd have to say, for a semi-final fixture. But New Zealand in this one, they'll be looking to redeem themselves. They have lost one game so far throughout the Sydney Sevens. They also lost that final up against Argentina. But those losses, they have to put them into the back of their mind, and they know that France definitely a challenge, and you cannot underestimate them. But this is the first of two semi-finals. The winner of this match will go on to face the winner of the game just around the corner, Fiji versus South Africa, and that game is about as big as it gets for a semi-final. Looking through at the benches for these two sides, it will be Lewis Ormond, McGarvey Black, Amanaki Nicole, Rush, and also the youngster Peyton Spencer. Then for France, it will be Zadar. He has been in the starting lineup a few times for them, alongside this man, Iragua. Dorian's there, who is a tank of an individual. And then Thomas Carroll, the last man off the bench for France. So unlike a few of the other sides, France have been mixing and matching a little bit with their starting lineup. They have made quite a few changes since their last match. Maybe it will work in their favour, or maybe it could be their downfall. But Dixon and Riva leading their two sides out onto the field, like I mentioned, the first of two semi-finals. The final will be taking place at about 10:26 p.m. tonight, I believe it is, and should be an absolutely awesome fixture. Go Kiwis, says Peter Stowers in there as well. Do let me know your score predictions in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Believe it's going to be close, just because I think France are really going to pour it on the Kiwis, but I'm going to say New Zealand win it, not just because I'm from New Zealand, but also because I feel that from their most recent performances, they were able to keep Samoa scoreless, which is quite tricky to do. Definitely after what we saw Samoa do up against the Australians. So I'll say New Zealand win it by 7. That's the prediction we'll go with. Go New Zealand, France 30, New Zealand 0. Says roll off there. And that would certainly be an exciting contest. Definitely brilliantly played by France if that was the way that it did end up going. But now New Zealand, they will be receiving the kickoff from France. And the semi-final is now underway. It will be Stephen Perez getting us going for this contest. 17 for France, and 21 for New Zealand, 5 for the French, and 22-17 to New Zealand for Tamanako. So a close game there. Leroy Carter taking it nicely just inside of the 22 now for New Zealand. Slinging it across. Joe Webber, the experienced heads of this New Zealand backline, goes off to Roderick Solo, who's a man who's on fire at the moment. Everything he has been doing lately has been leading to New Zealand scoring. Now, so it's the back of space a little bit there. SYDNEY Rugby just loses the footing, but does find the offload to Leroy Carter, who's got Stephen Perez right behind him. Got the pass on the inside. Found Roderick Solo. In fact, it is Akulia Rokalisoa who slams the ball down. New Zealand score in 40 seconds, and they take the lead in the first semi-final. Third try for Akulia Rokalisoa. Always quick. It was brilliantly done by Molia. Broke through one tackle of Rebage. Then he lured in not just Riva, but also Lagel, which left the gap open out wide for Leroy Carter. Knew he was getting caught by Perez, so slung the ball around to Rokalisoa, and he scores it. You'll also see Fiji warming up in the background. I still remember yesterday how New Zealand and South Africa were playing. There were tries being scored, yet the crowd reacted more loudly to when Fiji walked out of the tunnel to start warming up than they did to that quarterfinal matchup. We have got all the best men in black. New Zealand 19 and France 12. Rokalisoa is an animal. See his space bar. He's an absolute beast out there on the park. And his pace It's very hard to match, but New Zealand kick off short. Stephen Perez, bit of a juggle with the ball, and SYDNEY Rugby manages to pick it up. Now finds the offload. Dylan Collier dumps off Pasquet, taken down, tries to get back up to his feet, but leaves it for his teammates. Now Dixon goes across to Joe Webber. Looks to pass across to Rokalisoa. The drawn pass, awkward one for Leroy Carter, but he's been able to gather it. 3 defenders on him, which does mean if New Zealand go wide, they should have the numbers advantage. SYDNEY Rugby in the midfield. Takes contact with the drawn pass. Roderick Solos put the ball down. I might have put the mockers on him, saying that he has been absolutely sensational. And also New Zealand by 40, says Spider-Mick there. And New Zealand by 15 points is Peter Stowers' prediction. But it's originally dropped by Perez, which did put them under a lot of pressure. I was just trying to work out who that was. I believe it was Riva who was holding off making that tackle, just waiting for his teammate to make it. Sometimes that works, but other times can end up costing you if they do end up missing. But 4.5 minutes left of the first half. Stephen Perez feeding the ball into the scrum for the French. They are currently inside of their 22 by a couple meters on the far side of the field. Scrum is retained. Perez does well. Just waiting patiently for that one to bounce out. Nice low tackle made by Pasquet. And once again, it will be Rabage going out wide. Here comes Fournier. He has had a very good Sydney Sevens. The penalty for not rolling away against Leroy Carter. They decide to take it on, or take it again quickly, I should say, for France. Now Riva goes to the right. I can't speak anymore. Too excited for the semi-finals. But we did see 2 games recently for France, how they were down, and then they just ended up almost firing back, which is something you got to keep an eye on. The French are not out of a contest till the final whistle. That is a brilliant counter ruck from New Zealand. They force France back maybe about 5 meters or so, and now they do get themselves the quick tap. Did the women win? They certainly did. 41-0 in that matchup. Now will be SYDNEY Rugby. New Zealand at the moment on a 6-match winning streak against the French, and this is going to be another try. This time Leroy Carter does put it down, and New Zealand now get themselves their second go. The All Blacks, you got this, says Soraya there. And I wish the men's also won in Hamilton, says Rice. Yeah, it was a shame that they got beaten in the final up against Argentina, but sometimes those defeats, you learn a lot more from them than those victories. So if New Zealand go all the way in this championship or this league of the Sevens, you'd have to say they must have taken notes from what went wrong in that game up against Argentina and then have been able to get better. Let's go New Zealand, says John. Leroy Carter, he picks up another try in Sydney. Spends a lot of his time down on that right wing side, but does go hunting for the ball every once in a while when he needs to. And yeah, he lost, says it was Tamanui. Now, drop kick attempt from Rokalisoa is successful. So that will make the score 14-0. But that's why Rokalisoa is such an effective player for the Kiwis. It's not just the fact that he runs at 1,000 miles an hour and is able to always find line breaks. He also is a very accurate kicker of the ball when it comes to getting those conversions over. SYDNEY Rugby plays it back, Roderick Solo to Dixon. Now Webber leaves that one. A little bit of miscommunication, but does find the offload to Rokalisoa. And I mentioned the pace that he's got, and now he's going to pin his ears back. It looks like Stephen Perez wants to stop him. He's not going to be able to catch him, though. Slams the ball down again. Rokalisoa, just as I was talking about him, has been able to get his 4th try in Sydney. Let's go, the Kiwi, says Peter. And also, we have got the Kia ora Kiwi. Sorry, I'm late. No worries at all. We have still got plenty more matches coming up for the Sevens tonight, including one that is just around the corner, and that will be the exciting game between South Africa and Fiji. That is a huge one, and it's coming up very, very soon. Rokalisoa slamming that ball down on the turf. He's a very happy man at the moment with the way that he has been playing. It's going to be a drop kick successful. Gone straight over. And now Rokalisoa moves up to 199 series points, almost bringing up to 200. His footwork and speed is unmatched. Exactly right. He is an absolutely brilliant talent for the Kiwis. And series points-wise, he's actually 38 ahead of the man in second, which is Dietrich Roche, the Australian men's representative. But Rokalisoa kicks off short for the Kiwis. This time slapped back by France. Wasn't quite claimed cleanly. His foot was very close to the touchline there for Dorian, who they have decided to bring out onto the field maybe to add a bit more physicality. New Zealand with the counter ruck again. Trying to look for this ball. France just need a way of trying to get it back. Believe they've just managed to do so, have they? I think it was Dorian. Did he end up with it? No, New Zealand have been able to steal it. Now SYDNEY Rugby on the short side. Passes it across. Great hands from Dylan Collier. Another bounce pass to Dixon this time. Tries to break through the tackle with Perez. He's taken down. Now, SYDNEY Rugby goes off to the right. Leroy Carter, one-on-one, trying to fend. He manages to do well. Finds the offload over the top to Rokalisoa, who's looking for a hat-trick. Instead goes a little bit to the wrong man. Leroy Carter was calling for it, but the ball just got stuck in Rokalisoa's hand. Big joint of the breakdown, and that might be half-time now. Or do we still have time for one more scrum? I think we might have time for one more. And also we have got there, it's Rico or Rocco in the sevens, says it was Tamanui. Of course, Rokalisoa absolutely probably tournament best for New Zealand. It's tricky to say because, of course, he's adding those extra 2 points. But Roderick Solo, like I mentioned, he's actually been very good throughout this sevens tournament as well. And it's not all about the one leg because we came second at home. There's several legs in the sevens competition, and we are the most consistent team and first on the ladder, says John. Exactly right. They've been able to slowly tick over 10 points here, 15 points here, and it has all added up to New Zealand being top of the overall standings. Rokalisoa rolls it back to Leroy Carter. Breaks through Legel's challenge. Fournier misses on the outside. In fact, it was Dorian, and that will be the fourth of the match now for New Zealand. Leroy Carter gets his third in Sydney. And this game's looking very similar to what we saw between Ireland and New Zealand in the women's game just before. That one was 44 or 41-0 to New Zealand. At the moment, this game seems like it is going in that exact same direction. And can the men score 41 points against France? At the moment, it looks likely. I don't know what's happened for France since their last contest. They were able to very effectively beat Australia, but something's just not quite clicking for them at the moment in the first 7 minutes. Every time we predict 0 for New Zealand, they win. Must stop doing that, says Roloff. I'm sure a lot of Kiwis appreciate you doing it, Roloff. Because you said 30-0 for France, didn't you? And at the moment, it seems like maybe New Zealand could have, or in fact, maybe even more than a 30 points to nil win at the moment. Looking through at the bench, Lewis Orman, Naroi McGarvey-Black, Amanaki Nicole, Brady Rush, and Peyton Spencer for New Zealand. So plenty of talent waiting around the corner for New Zealand to bring out there when they do need it. What we will quickly do is just make sure. See, the next match is supposed to start, I believe it's at 6:25-ish. Might be a little bit later. I might have to quickly rearrange that next live stream, change the time that it is going to be starting, just because there might be a bit of an overlap. They are running slightly later than they would like to be, I believe. So I'll go like this and like this. It's loading. There we go. And we'll go like this. What time do we set it for? Do we set it 6:25? We might be all right if that's, yeah, we got it 6:25. We're all good. Just had to make sure that that next game wasn't going to overlap. Morning there, Kiwi lads. New Zealand are flying. France, no points. They are indeed. And also take that cheating France 2007 World Cup. Jeez, it's a little while ago, isn't it? Some people just don't forget. That's over 15 years ago. That's crazy to think. And 4 teams in the semis. Can only be one. New Zealand, of course, says Spider-Meek. And also we have good there. Looks like the men is also getting 41-0 lol, says Roikus. And yeah, that is something I definitely didn't predict. That man's taking his pants off. He's got the budgie smugglers on. I was going to say, you probably don't want to show that man for too long, because if the budgie smugglers come off, that's a dangerous zone. And also, it's 6:19 up north, says Tracy. Oh, sorry, 6:19, I should say, but 10 minutes away for South Africa versus Fiji. Huge amount of South Africans and Fijians in attendance to will their team on to a final. New Zealand will be kicking off the second half, though. Currently 26-0 ahead. Dream start to this matchup. Now Rokalisoa kicks it high. This one will be drifting in the wind. Comes down nicely now. Roderick Solo goes off to Sam Dixon. One more to Weber. New Zealand using their backline well. In fact, I believe almost every single player in their team touched the ball there. Brady Rush finds the offload on the outside to Rokalisoa. Legel knows he's not catching Rokalisoa. Maybe there's a last-ditch effort here from Carell. No, he just runs it in. Rokalisoa gets himself his hat trick. And people bag our AB side. The women are amazing. We'll talk, yes, the women are amazing. Our Black Ferns, but our men can hold their own as well. Says John. And also we've got the winners. The Sevens World Cup, I don't know when it is. It's actually already taken place last year. So it's quite a bit of time till we get to see the next one, unfortunately. And this is like a walkover for New Zealand. Just woke up. So still over my eyes. Amazing score. And also we have got there no nude streakers or regular streakers so far. In space bar, so that's always nice when they aren't about, but rockily so. The hat-trick. New Zealand now 31-0. A tough kick from the sideline is unsuccessful, just away to the left-hand side. Who won? I believe the World Cup of Sevens was won by Fiji, I believe. The overall World Cup. Or was it? Who took out the World Cup in Cape Town? Was it Fiji or was it New Zealand or South Africa? I think it was one of those three sides. And New Zealand was very strong, just no opposition. France asleep, says Roof. And New Zealand already getting this ball back again. 25 metres out, Sam Dixon hit hard in the tackle by the opposition captain, Riva. Now Roderick Solo, couple quick steps. He's up the middle. Lagelle trying to stop him. Oh, he's been dragged down in an awkward way. That could do a kneecap real easily. And it looks like he's staying down at a ball at the moment. Roderick Solo almost getting beaten up by Lagelle as he tries to counter ruck. And also, we look at how did I miss the notification, lol, says Nazi Williams. It might have been because I scheduled a live stream right beforehand, about 15, 20 minutes ago. So maybe that was why it didn't give you that one. And Fiji won, mate, says Setavini. So yeah, Fiji not just taking out the Olympics, but also taking out the World Cup. Who managed the Commonwealth Games in the end? Was that also Fiji? Because if it is, like they're at the moment, anytime it's a big competition, Fiji just take it. Yeah, Roderick Solo, he stayed down. He did fall awkwardly there. That's SYDNEY Molia still going strong for New Zealand, says Peter Stowers. And also, we have got there Fiji won, says Soraya there. Carell about to put the ball in. Australia, I think, took it out. Oh, did Australia get the Commonwealth Games? That's the thing. There's so much sevens happening. My brain keeps on forgetting who won things, which is tricky because I definitely know Fiji won the Olympics. Now I know they won the World Cup as well. So Fiji, top of the mountain, even though they didn't take out the overall standings last year. I think this year could be there. South Africa won the final against Fiji in the Commonwealth, says Setavini there. Okay, there we go. South Africa getting that win in England, I believe it was, wasn't it? Now down the wing, Peyton Spencer gets the ball. I don't know whether Iran were a part of it, Ben. Be interested to see how their seven side goes, if they ever have one. Now, it will be Dylan Collier. Offloads it up for the Kiwis again. Ball out wide. Sam Dixon with the step. Firing it back across. Now, Rohi McGarvey-Black goes to now on the outside. Brady Rush, Peyton Spencer. The pace, oh, he's been ankle tapped. He might have just kept that ball in the field of play, but it wasn't knock on. Did South Africa play their semi-final yet? Not quite. They are going to be playing in only about 3 or 4 minutes' time. And Hamish showing their class, or New Zealand showing their class, win the finals, Hamish. The final will be taking place at 10:26 p.m. New Zealand time. Australia took out the sevens competition, though, last year overall, says John there. Now, France, yet to score a point against New Zealand this season. They've been beating 20-0 and 38-0. And now they do continue that nil streak. So France, unfortunately, they've found their bogey team. It is the Kiwis. They find it very hard to get points up against them. Now France have got the scrum on the 22. Looks like there's going to be another change this time. It is SYDNEY Molia going off the field. I believe replacing him, it would have been Amanaki Nicole, I think. I don't think Lewis Orman's out there yet. And Australia took out the sevens competition, though, last year overall, says John. They did indeed. Finishing top of the bunch. Scrum feed going back down again. The last 3 minutes of this game, I think, is going to be a relatively long one because we know that this game's done and dusted, and we've got a semi-final just around the corner between Fiji and South Africa. So we just have to wait patiently till we get to see that match. But first of all, France, they want to get some points up against the Kiwis. They've got this ball inside of their 22. Irigua goes across to the captain, Riva. It's fallen on his back. Ball available again. Irigua goes off now to the youngster, Carell. Another handling error from the Zhao. He has had a terrible game, unfortunately. Is not what he would have been wanting. Jordan Sefo wrestled down. Now it will be Dorian, plays half. New Zealand slowly trying to trap France. 10 metres out from their own line. Roy McGarvey-Black wrestling hard. Amanaki Nicole. Bit of a counter ruck there. The Kiwis swarming Lagelle. This is brilliant work, although Sam Dixon almost ended up giving away the penalty. France might just have to kick this ball. Dorian's not going to kick, though. He tries to bump off. Gets taken down 5 metres out from the line. Lagelle now. Brilliant defence from the Kiwis. France just going nowhere at the moment. Another counter ruck. France with Carol. Goes back across there in their in-goal area now. Finds the ball out wide. One-on-one defence now for Peyton Spencer. Bumps him off. Drops the ball. New Zealand steal it. Joe Weber now has it. Trying to test out that step. Peyton Spencer goes round. Pins the ears back. Reaches out. Slams the ball down. New Zealand score again. 5 converted tries in 2 minutes. It's over for France. Says Spacebar there. Well, thanks. It'll be interesting to see the next game who's going to meet New Zealand, says Roof. Yeah, it's going to be an outstanding one. Fiji versus South Africa. Either way, it's going to be a great game, and even the side that loses is going to make the third place game extremely entertaining as well. And Jersey 74 Peyton Spencer, says Blues Nate. Spencer try time, says John there. Joe Weber just had a smile on his face when he was trying to fend off the French defender. Peyton Spencer. Oh, he gets kicked in the head there by Carol, which they might have to have another look at. So he goes down, and then Carol tries to kick him in the head. This is probably going to be a yellow card, I would think. But I don't think they're looking at it, so it's all right. They'll just play on. There's a mismatch, says Spider-Man, and also Spencer has magic feet. And, bro, I just turned my mobile on. I'm like, what's going on? 36-0. Yeah, it's pretty incredible that this one is so one-sided. I hope you're well. Hope South Africa win their semi-final, says Andre. And I also just hope that that next semi-final is less one-sided than this one. Because this one's very one-sided at the moment, as you guys can see. Now, there's going to be still another 36 seconds left. Too bad Aussie lost. I would have been a better matchup, says SYDNEY. And there as well. Yeah, New Zealand versus Australia always love a trans-Tasman rivalry. When it does take place now, it is going to be down the wing. The big man, Jordan Sefo, thinks about the offload, but Dorian joins the breakdown. Irigua goes off to Riva. Now in the middle, Pesquet goes to Carol. He's got the man on the outside if they decide to use him. Carol carving through. Scores the try for France right at the end of the contest. I don't believe they'll have enough time to be able to take this kick and then have another kickoff. But that is the first time France have scored against New Zealand in their last 3 encounters. So there's a little bit of something in this game for the French, you could say. But Carel running it nicely. Joe Weber just missing the tackle in the end. Amanaki Nicole was drifting wide, and they do manage to get themselves the try there right at the end, France. Well done, France. Says Blues Nate there, but nonetheless, that is going to be the end of this game. 36 points to 5. We will be transferring straight over to our next live stream. So I will see you all in a very, very short moment.